Okay, so I'm hoping I'm live. I'm hoping you can hear me. Let me just check. I've had about 5 attempts to get back with you live. You've got to love the internet. Let me just see if I'm there. I'm hoping I'm there and you can hear me and I can just get going again. Let's try. Okay, yes, so I can hear myself on my iPad, so I think the sound is back. I don't know what went wrong. I've got no idea. I'm so sorry. Crafting live with you is a lot of fun when it works and a source of great frustration when it doesn't. So this is part 2 of Waterfall Cards. I was almost finished with making a pretty sample, having made a template. If you're coming to this on the replay and you haven't seen part 1, watch part 1 first, because that will make much more sense. What I'm going to do is turn the camera back down to my desk and carry on where I left off. Okay, so I'm just going to cover you over a second. Let's hope I can do this quicker than I did before. Let's see how that is. So I'm waiting for my iPad to catch up so I can see the same view you have. Okay, not too bad. Right, let's quickly get this cable out of the way. And then I was just gluing the waterfall mechanism on when everything went wrong. I don't know why the sound suddenly disappeared. Everything was connected fine. It's just one of those things. It may have been something to do with the internet, although I can't imagine how, because, as I say, I had about 4 attempts to reconnect and it just would not reconnect. Okay, so I decided where I wanted this. I'd marked a pencil mark. I'm now going to glue this strip on. Sandy, you're back. Thank you, and thank you for sound checking me. Good. All right, so let's pop that strip back on. So I had a pencil mark to tell me where the top of it had to be. That definitely needs a minute or 2 just to really stick well. So while I'm waiting for that to set up, I'm going to just create a very simple insert. So I mentioned the Unbounded Love stamps. I'm just going to use the happy birthday from this. I really like the font on this. It's probably my most used image from the set. Let's bring in a stamping mat because these are photopolymer stamps. I have Night of Navy ink. There we are. So that's my happy birthday. We'll pop that inside the card and then we should be in a position to do the final bit of gluing on the mechanism and show off our waterfall. And then I've got a couple of other little ones just to show you. So let's slide the mechanism up. I find it slightly easier to slide it up this way rather than trying to thread the ribbon down, but it depends on your ribbon. Alright, so now the final step is to glue the bottom of square 4 to that strip that goes across. And as before, I'm just going to make a couple of little pencil marks which I can rub out so I know the boundaries of my adhesive. And then I'm going to make sure that that's well within those 2 pencil marks so it doesn't squidge out the sides. So I'm lining up the bottom of square number 4 with the bottom of that strip and lining up the pencil marks as well with that mechanism. And make sure that really grabs. There we are. So that should be my waterfall card finished. I'm going to give it a moment just to really set up. And then let's test it out. I'm hoping the glue has stuck. There we are. And again. Perfect. All right, I promised to show you another one. So I've done an autumn themed one here. This is using the splendid autumn paper and the, what are they called? Changing Leaves? Yeah, Changing Leaves dies. The Changing Leaves dies are an online exclusive, and the background paper is in the mini catalogue. So there we go, there's an autumn one. And then finally, I promised I would give you the measurements for a larger version. So if you want something bigger than C6, you can make a 5x7 one very easily. For this one, the card base is 10 inches by 7 inches, scored landscape at 5 inches. The front layer and also the insert is 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. The mechanism, the long strip, is 2.25 inches by 9.75 inches, and I've scored it landscape at 2.25 inches, 3 inches, 3.75 inches, and 4.5 inches. And then my strip to go across is 4.5 inches by 3/4 inch. And finally the squares, 4 pieces which are 2.25 inches square, and 4 pieces which are 2 inches square. So for this one I used the Winterly Treetops suite. Let me lift that up and show you. So this paper is from, I think I've got the right name. I'm just looking at my paper boxes just to double check. I can't see it now, of course, for looking. Anyway, it's the little birds ones, the little bird nests of winter, that's what it's called. So this is the birch paper with the little birds in it, and I don't know if you can see, I cut a piece that exactly matches to cover my strip. So the strip on this is pretty much invisible. So it takes a little bit of fiddling, but you can also do that if you don't want to be able to see the strip. And then I die cut little birds from the Nests of Winter paper. And there's one sheet where they just perfectly fit these little dies. And the card that I've mounted them on, I've embossed using the, it's like birch bark fold. I think it's called Birch, the folder, which again is in the same suite in the mini catalogue. And then I've used that same Just For You on there because I really like that. I think it's very useful. I've popped another little piece of the paper inside. So that is a 5x7 card, and that is our C6 card. So you can see it's quite a difference in size. This does make a more important looking card and it doesn't use a lot more in the way of materials. All right, so after some technical difficulties yet again, I'm very pleased that I was able to bring the last of the cards to you, and thank you for bearing with me. It's very frustrating when the technology doesn't work how you want it to. Let me just put the camera up so I can say a proper goodbye to you. Oops, I've got a lead somewhere that I need to undo, which I've forgotten to do. Otherwise I'm going to pull the camera over. Hang on. Let me just undo this cable. There we go. Right, now I can uncover the camera. I couldn't actually couldn't reach to do that. Gosh, we're a professional. outfit here, I can tell you. Okay, now I need to just look across at my wall where I've got all my dates up and tell you when the next Stamp and Chat live is, which is going to be the 22nd of November. I'm not doing one in October. Not only have we got my daughter's wedding this month, but we've also got my father-in-law's 90th birthday. So there's a bit of a celebration going on towards the end of the month as well. So I can't fit one into October along with everything else. But I will be back in November to see you. So I hope you'll join me then. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I hope you'll make some waterfall cards. If you're watching this on the replay, don't forget this is part 2, because due to technical difficulties, we've got two parts. The first part is the main part, and the second part is where I finish making the pretty card and show you some other samples. So make sure you watch both of those in order. It won't make much sense. Have a lovely weekend, all of you, and I will be back with you in November. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.